This is Wade, and you are in Wade World with Wade. So, have you guessed this yet? You, most of you, sitting right there or standing, looking at this, watching this, are richer than Bill Gates, are richer and wealthier than the presidents and prime ministers of most of your countries in this one thing. And if you have children, they are richer than you in this one thing. Have you figured out what this one thing is? The richest man in the world is poor compared to the poorest child in the world in this. Have you figured out what this one thing is? Yes? If you said time, then you are right. Again, this is Wade. Welcome to Wade World. This is something that Wade has realized that not a lot of us as humans understand. How much money you have, how much success you have, it can increase as you get older. But there is one thing in which we are all getting poorer. The poorest child born to the poorest family right at this moment is richer than the richest man in the world who has the oldest families in the oldest lineage, and that is time. And time is the only thing in this reality right now where you cannot make more of it, you cannot increase your time, you can only decrease the time that you have left. If we look at the world through this lens, a lot of decisions would make more sense. These are the things that will never be taught to you in school or in philosophy classes because these are some fundamental things that change the way we behave. For example, a lot of us wait for good things to happen. A lot of us spend a lot of our time, spend our time waiting for the right moment. But that time that you are spending is invaluable. There is no price on it. No amount of money, power, or influence can buy back even the 1 second that just went by. Not even the most powerful men in the world, the richest men in the world, can buy back even 1 second of their time. We're all getting poorer in time as life goes on. Now, how do you judge the value of something that you are only ever going to lose in this life and never be able to gain more of? You are only ever going to lose time. You're never going to be able to gain more of time. Well, that would depend on you. You can take your time, convert it into the energy that makes you mega successful, mega rich, mega powerful, or convert it into energy that makes you have a family, have children. By children, actually, is the only way. Beautiful desire, isn't it? Children are the only way in which you can multiply and extend your time. How? Because every child is a version of its father and its mother. So the times of both of these people is getting less and less. But once they have a child with the spark of creation, there is a little literal spark when the sperm enters the egg, by the way. This has been proven by science. So that spark of creation puts a little bit of both the father and the mother into the child so they continue living through the child. So by having children is the only thing you can create in this creation in which you can increase your time through a version of yourself and your children through their children and of course your ancestors through you. Look back all the way. Even if you don't know their family history, you come from ancestors who overcame massive odds to reproduce and they lived through you. Time. No amount of time is going to make Bill Gates richer in time, as an example, than a 5 year old. It's just not going to happen. There is no amount of money he can throw at it, no amount of power he can throw at it. And it's not just him, it's you, it's Wade, it's everybody. We are all getting poorer in time. So the only way for you to extend your time is to have children. And what you do with your time matters. If you think of life through this lens, all of your decisions become a lot costlier because you start thinking not in terms of money, which is a modern concept, not in terms of just power or influence. You start thinking in terms of how did I use my time? As there is a line in Ian Fleming's James Bond books. And now some of you might be like, oh, James Bond, it's fast cars, hot girls, super spy. But the books themselves betray a very intelligent mind. And there is a line that says, I will not waste my time, a prolonging my life, which is what a lot of us do. If you start thinking in terms of time, which you can never get back, so this is priceless, your life and your choices would become much wiser. For example, let us suppose you're in your early 20s as a man. And of course, your hormones are raging. If you're in a normal country, you have a normal diet, you exercise, you're a healthy man. And you spend a lot of your time going out at night chasing girls, right? Now, unless you want to make a child with these girls that you are chasing, and again, there's a lot of special things that come into play by having children with promiscuous girls. That's a genetically mixed child. They don't want you to know this, but look up telegeny versus Mendelian genetics. We're going to talk about this another time. So let's suppose you're in your early 20s. This is the time when you have the most energy, the most drive, the most focus. Your mind and your body are at the peak of their performance, right? So your time, again, is slipping away. So you go out, you talk to a bunch of drunk girls who may or may not have any redeeming qualities if they're going out getting drunk in public. And you spend your time on them, you spend your money on them. Maybe it goes somewhere, but it doesn't go somewhere. But if you look at it from the lens of how can you get richer in the one thing everybody is getting poorer at, you just burned your time. You burnt your time chasing pleasure and vacuous creatures who cannot give you anything, or who cannot multiply your time, or who cannot extend your time, or who cannot even value your time. Of course, if you meet someone special, not going to be at a bar or a club, because those kind of people don't hang out there. And trust Wade on this, Wade has gone to a lot of bars and a lot of clubs since Wade was 13. So now you start thinking, wow, my time is precious and I'm getting poorer. And these people are getting poorer too. These people are getting poorer, but they're wasting their time getting drunk, getting high, partying, blah, blah, blah. And then you see them, right? Childless spinsters with cats, old, nobody wants them, bitter. Because they wasted the time and no amount of money can ever bring it back. And the things they wasted the time on were not worth it. Now, and we're going to keep it very simple. You can extend this to any analogy. Maybe there's some mission that you have in life, maybe there's some goal that you have in life. But again, we're going to focus on the ultimate goal, the gift from the creator of this universe, that the only way that you can extend your time, multiply your time, is by procreating and having children. And the more children you have, the more your time gets extended, right? If you have a lot of children, your time gets multiplied even more than you were originally given in this life, in some ways of thinking. So if you look at it from just that, let us look at it from that perspective. So you're in your early 20s as a man, and your teens or early 20s as a girl. With girls, this time is even more precious because girls have a very short peak of being maximally attractive, which means basically most fertile. And that just drops off precipitously, starting at 23, 24, 25, 26. It's just like a cliff drop off. So it's like a shoot up after puberty, short time of value, and then just a precipitous drop off. And then it's just a horror story, usually after 25, 27, 30, 35. You just go through this. You can see the decay happening in front of your eyes. But let us keep girls aside. Let us take a young man in his early 20s. He is rich in time and he wants to multiply his time. To multiply his time, he needs to procreate, right? To procreate, you need a family. To have a family, you need a girl. To have a family, you need to provide and protect for that girl, as well as provide and protect for your children. So you need to be able to support a whole lot of people until they are self sufficient, excluding your wife. And you need to do this in a way or in a system which doesn't punish you for trying to multiply your time. Now, let's come back to your system. If you're in an English speaking country, the US, Canada, UK, Australia, New Zealand, all of the marriage laws through the state are stacked against you as the man. The women are incentivized, the girls are incentivized to misbehave and take half your stuff. The children are awarded to the breaker of the household. Like they say, girls sacrifice their family for their happiness, while men sacrifice their happiness for their family. So, in all of Western Europe and Anglo-Saxon countries, the system is set up not only to steal resources and money from you as a man, but steal something much more precious, and that is your time. Remember that. Let us suppose you are one of the good men who are not distracted by these vices, and you do find your time being utilized to multiply your time by having children with a girl, nice girl. But if that institution incentivizes her to break up the marriage, which 80% of divorces are filed by girls in the West, and take the children away from you, you've not only lost your time, it has been forcibly taken from you. And then with alimony and child support, your time is being constantly stolen and spent by a time parasite, the girl, because most of these women, they do not. And again, they're girls. They never grow up. They only grow old. They never spend the majority of the massive child support they get on their children. And furthermore, without a man in the house, they could literally ruin your children's lives. A lot of homosexuals come from single mother families. A lot of absolutely childless cat ladies come from single mother families. So not only has the state stolen your time, it has also destroyed your ability to live on through your progeny. It has stolen the time of your children as well by destroying them. If they don't have any children, that's it, you're dead. Start thinking in terms of time, and this crime against the family, this crime against the structure of family becomes much more evil. It becomes not only anti-time, it becomes anti-human, anti-creation. Right? Now let's dial it back, bring in another example. Let us suppose you have 5 days to complete an assignment that has an impact on your education in the world. Now, you could spend those 5 days rolling around, lolling around, wasting time, ideally, this and that, and then fail that assignment. Or you could spend a lot of those 5 days completing the assignment, or you could probably complete the assignment in a couple of hours and then you have the rest of the 4 days off. Now, these three scenarios show you three different kinds of people. We'll call them time losers, time balancers, and time winners. Now, in this creation, time winners obviously massively outperform time losers and time balancers. Why? Because it again ties to your ability. If you have a bent of mind that is bent on wasting time and not doing what is required, and unless that time is used productively, which is probably not going to happen, right? So you are just burning your time without any specific plan to further extend it or multiply it or even be aware of it. These will be the dregs of society throughout history. Although laziness mixed with genius leads to some fantastic result. But again, laziness is, with genius, a way to save time to spend somewhere else. And because it's genius, that spending somewhere else is usually also fruitful. Now, time balances are your average people. They require all that time to achieve that goal. So their input of time is pretty much equal to or slightly less when it is turned into output. They do have the choice to extend and multiply their time, and just by following this absolutely average approach, by their average ability, they will be able to. They'll be able to have children, have a family, have children. The people who can utilize a lot of the time given for their own interests and only need a little bit for the project are going to be the winners. But there's a big caveat: only if they actually utilize the time that they have left over, because they're so fast and so much faster than everybody else, thought wise, intelligence wise, and action wise. Because what this does is it gives you a time multiplier. Now, what does WAYDE mean? So imagine yourself as having a time account, right? A time account. So there are 86,400 hours in a day, 864,000 hours in 100 days. So we can round that up just for now. We can round that up to 900,000 hours. And throughout the year, you would have roughly close to, let's say, about 325,000 hours, right? If you live till 100, you have about 32.5 million, not hours, 32.5 million seconds. So let's suppose you start with a bank account of 30 million seconds, assuming you're born and you live to 100. The time wasters will just blam, blam, spend it, 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 burn, 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 and end up as failures. The time balances will, again, because you have no option. That time is just going to be spent. It is going away, whether you want to or not. The time balances, again, their time is spending, 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 but it's also being balanced by their other actions. And then when they have children, that's when it multiplies. Now, the time multipliers, they literally can divide those 30 million seconds into 300 million, 3 billion, 30 billion microseconds, because they live life faster. So their time is also being spent, but at a much slower rate, because their minds work faster, their abilities work faster. And then when they multiply their time by having children, and they need to have children, if they don't have children, again, they're lost. All that multiplied time all goes to zero. If you die childless, that's it. Your time multiplied by a big fat zero, it means you are a zero. So the faster you can live, the slower time gets. Isn't that something to be really, really interested in? So the faster you live, the slower time gets. So coming back to the calculation, right? 86,400 seconds in a day, about 900,000 seconds in 100 days, about 3.25 million seconds in a year. And if you live to 100, that would be 325 million, not 30 million, 325 million seconds in a year, in your lifetime, ideally 0 to 100. So if you are wasting time, that probably means you are in a low intelligence state of mind, whether it's genetic, which is a huge component, or by will, and you're choosing to do that. If you're living in a balanced state of time, you're going with the established rate of flow of time in this universe. But if you are in that deficit where you can achieve a lot in a small amount of time, you actually are the only exception in that you're still getting poorer, but you're still richer than all these other guys who are mega successful and older than you. And you have some more of a gift in that you can divide your time and live more of your life in these small chunks of time. And thus, you can translate that time into bigger deeds, bigger successes, and more opportunities to multiply your time through your children. So, time, it's a very simple concept and nobody talks about it because very few people think in these terms. There is no amount of money that you can spend to buy back even a single micro or nanosecond of your time. There is no amount of violence you can exact to get back your time. There's no amount of power you can amass to get back your time. Ask Gilgamesh from the Sumerian epics. He tried to be immortal and he failed. And he made his peace with this. He's like, all right, I only have a limited time on this earth. Let me use my time well. So that is the one thing in which you are richer than the richest man in the world. Time. And until next time, with Wade, remember that and keep it cool, keep it smart, and as always, enjoy your time.